Merry belated Christmas and a more poignant Happy New Year. I've left it right up until the very end to talk about my favourite video game stories of 2017, so let's not waste time and get straight into it. I can't very well have a list about video game narratives that doesn't include the Tales series. It is my favourite series for a reason, that reason being the stories they tell. Now, while most people were enamoured with Berseria and its darker tone, I actually wasn't too thrilled with it overall, which is why it is in the last possible spot on this list. It was a good story, but I think the series has done better, and I really don't think it's that much darker in tone than some of the other entries in the series. That said, it is a brilliant all-round game, and it still has a story worth experiencing. Certainly more so than a lot of other games that released this year, so it deserves this spot. I mean, Berseria is worth playing just for Magilu. Yakuza is a hugely underappreciated series that I am glad is seeing more mainstream attention, and I put that down in no small part to Yakuza 0. I was guilty myself of not really getting into the series until this entry, but now I am absolutely in love with it. The way it tells its story is just excellent. It skips between protagonists perfectly and has excellent pacing to keep you interested the entire time. There are emotional moments, there are oh my god what the f moments, and all round the narrative is just beautifully crafted. It can be edge of your seat stuff at times, and that isn't all. The side quests are some of the best I've experienced in a game. They seem to spontaneously happen to you while you are just out and about doing other things, and absolutely none of them are boring fetch quests. They are satisfying self-contained stories all on their own, and inject a healthy dose of humour into the mix. If you haven't picked up a Yakuza game, there is no better time than now. Let's acknowledge the elephant in the room. How is Persona 5 only number 3? The short answer is length, the slightly longer answer is forced length, and an in-depth answer is that while I enjoy a long game that I can sink a lot of hours into, I would prefer those hours occur naturally through side content or exploration that I choose to play. What Persona 5 generally presents you with is a largely linear narrative path that is at least 10 or 15 hours too long to not feel like a slog towards the end. But the story overall is just delightful. Excellent, really. There is so little between the top 3, and Persona 5 is every bit as deserving of a number 1 spot, especially when the narrative is married up with what is probably the best gameplay we've seen all year. I love the characters, I love the premise of the world and the story, I love the writing, I love the voice work, I love just about everything about Persona 5, and it really is a must-play game for any RPG fan. Truth be told, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 knocked Persona 5 from its original number 2 spot, and it managed it right at the death, releasing in December. And this is the kind of game I was talking about when I said I like long games that have length added naturally through player choice rather than it being forced. I've spent just over 200 hours in XC2 so far, and I keep going back to play. The average gamer would probably have a similar playtime for XC2 as they would for Persona 5, but the difference is that XC2 just makes you want to lengthen your experience with its gorgeous world, extensive side quest catalogue, and a diverse set of characters you can't help but want to learn more about. Also, there is one crucial reason it deserves its high spot on this list. It is the closest I've ever come to crying in a video game. Without giving away spoilers, there is a heart-shattering moment in the final chapter that nearly had me weeping. Xenoblade is something you need to experience for yourself, and XC2 may be the best entry in the franchise yet when it comes to narrative. As far as honourable mentions go, I could mention many more because 2017 has been one of the best years on record for JRPG fans, but these few are the ones that stick out the most. While Breath of the Wild doesn't quite make the list due to a general lack of story as it shifted to a more exploration and gameplay focused experience, both Blue Reflection and Kingdom Hearts 0.2 Birth by Sleep, A Fragmentary Passage suffer from being a little too short in length. For Kingdom Hearts in particular, it takes almost as long to say its full title as it does to finish the game, which is a shame because I wanted nothing more than to spend more time with Aqua. Was there ever any doubt? Nier Automata almost redefined video game storytelling, and it cemented Yoko Taro as a genius and the master of video game narratives. I honestly couldn't come up with a single negative for Nier Automata. I loved absolutely every minute of every playthrough, and the way it tells its story and ties threads together through multiple varying playthroughs is so beautifully crafted it puts certain recent efforts from major franchises with much larger budgets to absolute shame. Nier Automata makes you ask questions. It can be philosophical, it can be heart-wrenching, it can even be funny, and it can make you feel for characters in ways you never thought you would as you continue your journey into the story-driven perfection. Some Western publishers like EA want you to believe that single-player games are dead, but I think this list demonstrates that has to be a total load of crap. And Nier Automata is at the forefront of pioneering levels of excellence and engagement in a single-player experience we have scarcely ever seen before. I just hope 2017 has been the beginning of more wonderful experiences like this, rather than an ending. And speaking of ending, this video is getting pretty close to ending as well, but I want to know what stories had you at the edge of your seat this year, so be sure to jump down into the comments section and let me know what your favourite narratives of 2017 have been. Hit the like button if you liked this video, subscribe to see more of me and everything I do, check out the links in the video description to help support this channel and more content like this, and other than that, I'll see you all soon.